And so I think the quality of sound was a lot better. Just like, if I understand correctly, Attorney Don West said on the stand today, when he heard it, the quality of sound was a lot better. So, you know, they have deposed Mr. Martin for about 6 hours on the issue. I don't know why we're talking about it today in court, since they have all the information. In any event, as Attorney Parks said, we're just trying to move this case on to trial. We don't want the distractions. We really want it to stay focused. And on June 10th, everybody wants it to go to trial. And that's what we're praying for on behalf of our clients. Can you address the defense claim that somehow the amount of the settlement could be relevant in trial as to the parents' veracity?
Well, clearly what I think that is, it's a smoke and mirror. That issue has nothing to do with whatsoever what happened the night Trayvon Martin was killed. And so what the defense is attempting to do is to use side issues, smoke and mirror issues, to really fade what's really going on here. So to try to bring that issue to the forefront of an issue that involves outside parties into that is an attempt to some type of way smear the Martin family. And we don't like that.
Specifically, did Mr. Martin have some sort of financial incentive through this? I mean, that's the allegation. That's the allegation.
Absolutely not. We filed motions. You know, it is just wrong to suggest that Tracy Martin and Sabrina Fulton wanted their son to be killed so they can get a confidential financial settlement. And when you clear away all of the innuendos, that's what the motion is saying. And it's just so unfair to this family. As Attorney Parks said, it was a good day. We're moving the matter on the trial on June 10th.
Just to follow up on that, Trayvon, tragic as it was, already gone by the time these issues came up with whether it was his voice on the 911 tape or not. So we know what you're saying. Obviously, they didn't want their son to be killed, but this all came after that. So, you know, again, just
and you know what? Let me be very clear about it. All this stuff happened afterwards. You know, it was within 2 days. A grieving father whose son had just been shot dead, and the police said they weren't going to arrest anybody, and he's sitting there and they're playing this tape. And please note that Detective Sereno asked George Zimmerman the same question, and George Zimmerman said that he could not recognize that was his voice. So, you know, you have to cover both sides, and that is the person who was there, and he said he couldn't recognize his voice.
But I think you got to also focus on one other point. Remember this here, George Zimmerman followed Trayvon behind the building. And so whether who was crying for help or not, he followed him, and he stalked him. And sometimes that can get lost in the true facts that are uncontroverted in this case, and that's important.
You're saying flat out Tracy Martin did not change his mind about his voice that was because of money.
We're saying flat out.
I'm going to address this. No parent, there is no benefit to losing a child. So to insinuate that someone profited by a loss of a child, that is, it is offensive, and not only offensive, it goes against anything that any loving parent would want. I believe from anyone who has seen Tracy Martin and Sabrina Martin give interviews, you will see that they would have Trayvon Martin before they would have any amount of money. And so these questions, this is the last time we're going to address this unless it's addressed in court. And I believe that it would be wrong-headed for them to go that direction in front of a jury of mothers or whoever.
Is it out again? We good?
You take one or two more.
One or two more.
Thoughts on Zimmerman waiving the stand your ground hearing today?
Well, I think what he did spoke for itself. You all heard the judge's inquiry, and I think everyone can judge that for themselves. It was clear.
What was Mr. De La Riada referring to when he said Miami-Dade school board members concluded that what Trayvon had was not a weapon and the act he committed was not a crime?
Okay. Well, I think it's clear. What's alleged is not criminal. It's not under the criminal code of Florida. What's asserted there. It spoke for itself. Thank you.
We were not at that deposition. I think all that evidence will come out in trial, and you will hear it in whole and in totality, and not in pieces as it's been piecemeal fed. As to the immunity and the waiver of the stand your ground, this was a victory for all the protesters that thought that George Zimmerman should be arrested. George Zimmerman today gave up his right in court to have a pre-trial determination of whether or not he should proceed to trial. He gave up that right. He will proceed to trial. That means that everyone who thought that he should have been arrested and proceed to trial is vindicated by this judgment today.
What's your full name?
Natalie Jackson. Thank you.
Thank you.